All right, let's try this again. What's going on, fam? My name is Jamel Tony. Welcome to Hot Topics, and good evening.
Hey, y'all. I'm Lakeisha, and welcome to Progressively Becoming. We are back, y'all. We are back and in effect. As you're getting on, make sure you like, comment, and share. And let somebody know PB is on now. We are in the building, and every Tuesday, right here, 7 p.m. sharp.
We are sharp. It is 7:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We pray you all had an amazing day, an amazing week. It's Tuesday. You got through Monday. You're almost through Tuesday. And you got a few more days, and then we start this all over again. It is the wonderful world of living.
Yes.
You wake up.
Thank be to God.
You go to sleep. And you wake up the next day. And prayerfully, within that time of waking up and go to sleep, we made some type of impact on this earth and was productive. So I pray you had a productive day. I pray your week is productive.
Today.
You was?
Yeah.
How so? Talk to me.
I went to work. I had a productive day doing that.
So when you went to work, you worked at work.
I did.
A lot of
but
times
I
you don't.
did today. Today was a productive day, and I made it through it, y'all, because I was tired as all get out. You know you tired when you actually in the middle of working and you take one of them long blinks. And I was actually doing something on a computer, and I had to catch myself because the long blink was a little long. I was tired. I was fighting through it today. I was tired, and because I don't drink coffee, you know, back in my former couple years ago,
Yeah. Go
I
on.
used to
Tell the people who you were. Tell the people what you used to do. For yourself. When
I used to be sleepy at work, I used to start just snacking. So I get chips
I
and
thought you were gonna say something else.
cookies and chocolate, and just because it helped me, perk me up. But that not a good way to.
Is that all you did?
That is all I did.
Okay.
So, drunk sodas and things like that.
That's it, right?
Bye. Anywho.
Fam, listen, Thursday, 6 a.m. morning devotions. Join us there as we go before God on your behalf. Seriously, we want to pray with you. We want to pray for you. We are confident that he hears us collectively, us, not just Lakeisha and I, but us together. It's a family thing. He hears us when we pray. And because of that, we know that he will hasten to perform his word over our lives. So again, 6 a.m. morning devotions. Listen, Thursday, I want you to tag someone, invite someone, tag a friend, tell them. Wednesday, set your alarm clock. 6 a.m. we're praying. We'll believe in God for a supernatural encounter Thursday, 6 a.m.
Also, DU is Thursday at 6:30 p.m.
6:30 p.m. Discipleship University, where roots grow deep. We go over the ins and outs of what it means to be a disciple and what it means and how do you disciple others. Continue.
Yeah, so for those of you that have already registered, just make sure you check your emails. Y'all know how we do. You're going to get an email to join. For those of you that are not participating, don't worry. You can still at any time. Yeah. Just go to www.theplaceofexchange.com.
Let me forewarn all of you that tonight, we don't know what is going to happen because we're tired, right?
Look,
and so
I feel like I feel sluggish a little.
I feel
like I'm behind the beat.
Like seriously, we don't know what's going to happen. So let me just say this.
Like I'm behind
oh Lord, guard our words, watch our tongues, and keep us from the evil one, because we don't know what's going to happen tonight. We are literally, this weekend was an amazing experience.
Amazing,
Those of you that was with us, prayed for us, supported us.
Yes.
Thank you for all of your prayers and support on Saturday, the installation service, and then on Sunday, our New York in-person service. I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart. I cannot thank God enough for you. Seriously.
Yes.
I thank God for what he's doing in your life. And again, this weekend, it has been my duty to like literally see how I can just respond to everyone and just give personal things.
Yeah.
On Monday, it was like I kind of shut my phone down.
Yeah.
And this morning and late last night, I was just responding to text messages and trying to catch up on phone calls and because I don't want to, and some of you I have not responded to, so please forgive me. I'm getting there.
Yes.
But again, I want to say thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been a lot, so we just trying to get caught back up. But we thank all of y'all publicly. Yeah. Like Jamel said, thank y'all for supporting, praying. Those of you that couldn't be there and you watched virtually, we thank y'all for that. We just, this whole weekend was just amazing. We couldn't have asked for better. God really showed up on Saturday and on Sunday for us. It was an amazing time. And
again, you cannot encounter God in your life not be changed.
Yeah.
It is, every encounter with Jesus, it resulted in some form of transformation. And so our prayer was that you are transformed, not because you came with us, no, because you genuinely had an encounter with Jesus Christ. You cannot show me one scripture where the people encountered Jesus and was not changed. Again, it's in his DNA. And so I thank God for that. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let us get into it, ladies and
My
gentlemen.
body ain't ready, but I'm ready.
It's Hot Topics, where we discuss what is happening in the world. The first up is...
Oh, y'all already know what we're going to talk about.
You already know what we're talking about. The New York Jets.
Oh.
So, and I should have had our son on here to kind of give us a recap. And we'll probably see if we can arrange that. But on September 11th, a day that will forever go in history, the New York Jets, on a Monday night, launched their season at MetLife Stadium in front of a sold-out crowd with literally millions of people watching the New York Jets as they debuted their quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. We was on Hard Knocks.
Aww.
Millions of people watched us in their homes, chronicling the life and times and the practices of the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers. However, on September 11th, on a Monday night,
it's my birthday. I don't appreciate that, Aaron.
After four, I'm trying to get somewhere here.
I'm just saying. I don't appreciate that happening on my birthday. But anyway, nonetheless, go ahead.
It's not about you right now.
I'm just
okay. On September 11th, with only 4 plays in, our quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, suffered a season-ending Achilles injury 4 plays into his Jets debut. Yeah. Head coach Robert Saleh told reporters on a media call on Tuesday that unfortunately he is out for the year as he will need surgery. At 39 years old, Aaron Rodgers is the second oldest player in the league, and this was to be his 19th season. On September 11th, we won that game, literally on a wing and a prayer. Literally a wing.
Ain't that a song?
And it was on a wing and a prayer. Like the wind just happened to hit the ball at the right time, and our man Garrett Wilson caught it for a touchdown. But Zach Wilson is the current starting quarterback for the New York Jets. Since his 2021 debut, he is literally the last in each positive category when it comes to quarterbacks. quarterback rank, and I think he's like second to last when it comes to touchdown passes. He's last. Yards, he's last. He is last since 2021. However, he is the man according to our coach, Robert Saleh. According to Hall of Famer Joe Namath, Joe Namath says Zach Wilson, his playing is disgusting. And so at this point going forward, I don't know what to say besides God be with us. And that has been the New York Jets report.
Y'all, let me tell y'all, we was watching the game. Like, really, I had to share this with on my birthday, but I was prepared for it. But anyway, nonetheless, and I could not believe that actually happened. I was like, are you kidding me?
4 plays.
Like, I think he was out there for like 2 minutes.
Aaron Rodgers did not successfully complete a pass in as a player of the New York Jets.
But it's still like the season's still young.
The season is done.
What y'all wanted?
2. It's done. It's
possible.
Done. It's over.
Well, I mean, it's true, but y'all play the Chiefs coming up, so y'all definitely ain't gonna win
Sunday
that
night.
Y'all ain't gonna win that one.
Sunday night.
So, but anyway,
I bring this up to genuinely pose this question.
Don't give up, folks.
Don't give up, but
just kidding.
To all of you out there that's holding on to something, I'm being genuinely serious here.
Okay.
Right? To all of you out there that refuses to let something go because of loyalty. At what point do you say, you know something? This is no longer beneficial for me. Mm-hmm. Like, at what point do you say, like, loyalty is really kicking my behind here, and I have to let things go? And this is the case of the New York Jets. This coach and this GM is loyal to Zach Wilson, and it is no longer beneficial for us. What in your life do you say, hey, you know something? I need to let it go, right? I've given you chance after chance. I prayed and I hoped and I prayed again. It's not working out. This relationship ain't working out no more.
Ain't working.
This friendship ain't working out no more. This job ain't working out no more.
Ain't working.
Right? Mm-hmm. I gotta let you go. Let it go. If it's no longer benefiting you, like, let it go. And
well, Nancy said, don't, never doubt your team. Where is your faith?
So I don't have none. I don't have any faith. Okay. But again, let things go. If it's not working out in your life, again, I hope the New York Jets turns it around. But yeah.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah, what we got?
I mean, and not for nothing, I was becoming a low key Jet fan. I was really rooting. I was low key becoming one. I was rooting for them. Now I understand football a lot more than I did years ago because I was struggling. And I'm becoming a fan of football. But I was low key a Jets fan. I wanted them to succeed. I wanted them to win. I was all excited and ready, especially since I had to share my birthday with, the team. I wanted them to win. And even though they did, it was just a tragic outcome. But y'all not going to beat the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. But anyway, we're moving on. Next thing we're going to talk about.
Okay.
No.
We're going there.
No, we're not.
We're going there.
No, we're not.
We are going there.
I don't know.
No. Yes, we are. She know where I'm going.
I don't know anybody else, but I do know that person. The next thing we are going to talk about, y'all, is the former President Trump.
Donald J. Trump.
His indictment for the first 234 years of the nation's history. No American president or former president has ever been indicted. And because of Donald Trump, that has changed this year. Former President Donald Trump has been charged in 4 criminal cases over a 4.5 month span. He has been busy. In New York, he faces 34 felony counts in connection with hush money payments to the porn star. In Florida, he faces 40 felony counts for hoarding classified documents and impeding efforts to retrieve them. In Washington, D.C., he faces 4 felony counts for his efforts to overturn the 2020 election. And in Georgia, he faces 13 felony counts for his election interference in that state.
91 counts. 91 indictments.
Yeah. And in New York, Trump is accused of violating New York state law by allegedly agreeing to obscure a series of reimbursements to his former lawyer and fixer Michael Cohen, who is the key witness against Trump in the case. Cohen made a $130,000 alleged hush money payment to the adult film star Stephanie Clifford, known as Stormy Daniels, days before the 2016 election. And it was in exchange for her silence about her alleged affair with Trump. And of course, Trump denies the allegations and says that there was no affair.
In Florida, Trump is accused of keeping classified documents, and we saw the pictures. He got documents in his bathrooms, in his garages, in the bathrooms, closet, and office space. He got them in the storage room. But according to the indictment, he is also accused of a scheme to conceal that he kept those documents, and of course, he denies those wrongs.
Deny. And in D.C., he's accused of participating in a scheme to interfere with the peaceful transfer of power after he lost the 2020 election to President Joe Biden. The indictment accuses Trump and 6 unindicted, unnamed co-conspirators of knowingly spreading lies that there was widespread fraud in the election and that he had actually won, ultimately leading to the January 6th, we all remember this, the 2021 attack on the Capitol. And again, Trump denies any wrongdoing.
In Georgia, Trump and 18 others are accused under the RICO law of coordinating an effort to thwart proper certification of the state's 2020 presidential election, which Biden won. The investigation was launched after an infamous recorded phone call to Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger on January 2nd, 2021, in which Trump pressed him to find 11,780 votes. And of course, Trump denies these allegations.
So, he got a lot going on right now, y'all. And if he is convicted, he can spend more than 70 years in prison. And in a nutshell, due to the fact that he's already 77 years old, that would be considered a life sentence. Now, I don't know. Can he, is he going to really go to jail?
I don't know. So the question is this a witch hunt, right? Do people not want him so badly that they are willing to put a 77-year-old man in prison? If you ask me, if you ask me, and I understand all of this, right? But if you ask me how it looks, it's a witch hunt.
How?
Because so many others did the exact same thing.
All of that?
They found classified documents in Biden's house. He right? There was no indictment against him, right? There are so many issues that I think so many other politicians are involved in, and they are not brought up again, and they are not indicted.
So what about the hush money?
I'm not saying that he did not do these things, allegedly, right? Allegedly. What I'm saying is they are trumping charges against him because they do not want him to win. Again, and I'm not saying this for any other reason that I believe it is a witch hunt to keep Donald J. Trump from winning the election, because according to the most recent poll, President Biden and Donald Trump are deadlocked at 46%, according to the NBC News general election polling. They are deadlocked at 46%. According to other polls, Trump leads Biden 51% to 42% in the ABC News polling.
Terrible.
So all of these indictments is not stopping individuals from saying, hey, I still want him.
Right. So then how can that, like, so what your point is, oh, this is a witch hunt to prevent him from becoming president again. It's not, because people still gonna, like, vote for him stupidly.
And I agree with you. It's not working.
I think for me, it'll be a witch hunt if they was making up stuff, creating things to throw on top of him that he's done. This stuff ain't made up.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen where they've done witch hunt on people, just throwing, looking for stuff, adding things that could not be true. Allegedly, this stuff, he did it. Allegedly.
And I get that. But you don't believe that these charges are like that these states are not saying, hey, you know something? Let's all go at Donald Trump one time so that we can get him, because we don't want him to be president so badly that we're going to find stuff that he did, which he probably did, and then charge him on these things.
But these charges, it doesn't seem like you have to, like, look too far from this for this mess. Like with the New York indictments, like you ain't gotta go searching too hard for that. And all of this stuff looks like it happened all around the same time, all around. So it probably wasn't difficult to, once you start checking someone's background, that these things pop up for him. I personally don't think it's a witch hunt.
Let me ask you a question. If Donald J. Trump was a great president in his first term, right? And Joe Biden was just the better candidate. And that's a whole nother discussion, right? But let's just say Donald J. Trump was a great president in his first term, right? And Joe Biden just narrowed him out. And all of these things still happened. Do you think that they will be trumping all of these charges against him?
Yes, because
I don't think so.
It.
No, I don't.
Because he did, like, at this point, ain't nobody above the law.
Yes.
Nobody.
Okay. We say that, but how many people are above the law? Look at Rudy Giuliani. Giuliani would go down as this man is corrupt. He is corrupt. And he was, people let him slide. People let him do things. People let him. It's because of Donald J. Trump. Giuliani they let him slide over everything, stop and frisk, all of those illegal seizures and people in jail, and all of that stuff under Rudy Giuliani, that people just let him slide. But now that he's hooked up with Trump, he's just going to, it's no. I think it's a witch hunt. It is. And I think the media, and again, I'm not saying this, I have nothing with Trump, but I'm just saying I think the media is using their influence to once again influence the outcome of this election.
Well, Avarice said if Obama had tried to steal an election, no one would be calling this a witch hunt.
Oh, I agree.
And I agree. Say, always blaming the media. The media ain't commit the crime.
No, but the media influences individuals. The media has a heavy influence on individuals, and here's why. Because the media can be selective in what they portray. We see it on CNN versus Fox. The same speech. And CNN will use these clips and Fox will use these clips. The media is influential. Yeah. Right? So again,
but it still doesn't negate the fact that allegedly he did that.
Okay, I got you.
That's all. So I personally, I don't think it's a witch. Like I said, if it was a witch hunt, then you would be creating a narrative. You would be creating these things to make your whole narrative true. Mm-hmm. But these are things that he actually did. He had a role in these things. Mm-hmm. So it's not a witch hunt if I uncover things that about you that you actually committed a crime, that you did it.
But where else in the 234 years has a president ever been brought up on charges, have ever been indicted when they should have?
Like who?
Look at the Bill Clinton. He was impeached, but was he indicted?
For what?
He lied.
So what? Like he had an affair.
I'm not talking about having an affair. I'm talking about what he did.
What?
No. I'm talking about he lied in front of Congress. He blatantly lied.
He said he pumped.
And anybody else that will lie in the courtroom will be held in contempt, will be brought up on charges. It's called perjury. He was never indicted.
Okay, husband, you reaching that.
I'm not.
If that's the case, just lock up all the politicians because they all liars.
Lock them all up. Lock them all up. They all corrupt.
You reaching now.
They all corrupt.
You reaching.
But it's a witch hunt. Let the public make an unbiased decision as to who they would like to vote for. Because what's going to happen is... Go ahead.
That's why I asked earlier when we was discussing. I was like, what is the qualifications to be the president? Because he shouldn't even be able to... At some point, you shouldn't even be able to run. You got all this mess going on. You indicted for 1,520 counts of things. You should not be allowed to even run for office when you got all this stuff going on. So that's why I was asking, like, what is the requirement to become a president? But it's not really much. You just got to be 35 years or older. You got to be a natural born citizen, and you must live in the United States for the last at least 14 years of your life. But it should be some type of standing. Like, you going through all this stuff, all these indictments, some of this stuff you probably will get convicted of. You should not be able to run for president because you ain't qualified to lead no country or anybody else with this type of character that you have.
I do agree with you.
So that's all I'm saying.
I am in complete agreement.
So
I agree.
All of that for me to say, y'all, when it's time to vote, get out there and vote.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Vote. And that's what I would say. Vote and get people who we should have in there out.
Correct.
And get some, like, I need some young people coming in. The old men. Anyway,
Average said Trump is the worst president in American history. He makes Bush look like Gandhi. So I'm curious as to what Bush. First, the father or the son?
Well, the father had one term. The son had 2 terms.
This is a slippery slope. So Biden recently went on the picket line with union auto workers that are striking against Chevrolet, GM, and Ford. The question is, again, Biden, the first president to actually go on the picket line, right?
History with that.
Yeah, is this a political move because of the upcoming election, or is he setting an example and precedent for presidents to come? And again, he's the first sitting president to join the picket line.
Right. I don't know the agenda of it, but what he did is pretty huge.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see presidents out there joining the picket line with union workers. And, maybe that will set an example to other future leaders that you could go out there, and if it's something that you believe in, regardless of the political, what's the word I'm looking for?
Ramifications?
Of it, yes. Ramifications of it, that you're going to stand for what you believe.
Yeah. I agree.
So,
I like that.
I mean, that's what I got out of that when I saw it. I thought it was a great thing. Yeah. He believes in the union workers for automotives. He does. He talks about that for years. He's talked about that often. And he probably is going to get some type of backlash for being out on the picket line.
Most definitely he is.
I appreciate that.
Most definitely he is. Because him joining the picket line almost divides them and them. It's like, okay, I'm joining the picket line. I'm in agreement for this. And yet, it could be a disagreement for what those on the other side is, but again, Biden he's a people's president. And I think we can see that when he attempted to settle tuitions and get rid of tuitions and
bring it back, Jesus.
You know, all of the things he did during the COVID response. I think he is a people's president. I think he need to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I think Trump need to wrap it up.
Yes.
And again, I'm not. It has nothing to do with age. I think it has everything to do with, at this point, mentally, can they handle the pressures of it? And that's that. But we can go on and on about Trump and Biden.
Yes. Great conversation.
Great conversation.
Yes.
Listen. All right. So here we go next. Some of you may have heard this. Pastor Josh Hart. He was a pastor of a church, All Nations, in Louisville for 13 years. He recently released this statement, and I want to put it up. He recently released this statement. It says this: I have made it a priority to live a private and actual live real life with no social media pressure. But so many people still ask or check in, so I thought I would update. This month marks 1 year since I resigned from a church organization. And after much thought, time, and prayer, I decided months ago I would not be returning to ministry after 13 years. The things my family and I endured and witnessed during that season from people we trusted with our lives were honestly devastating. And it took a long time to process. Unfortunately, we witnessed the reality that sick leaders can still perform and build, but they can never carry others well. So in that pause, for the first time, I decided to think about other personal passions. My whole adult life, one thing that I have been passionate about is proper police work and integral law enforcement. I have always been the type to do more than talk about things I know, I love, and can contribute to. So with that said, I have trained, tested, and patiently gone through an eight-month process, and today I got the satisfaction of swearing in with our police force. I am passionately excited about this direction and the contribution my background and personality can bring to this community. Thank you to my beautiful wife and kids, family, and friends who have supported me along the way and in the beginning of this journey, and I am excited to make a difference in any way the future will allow. Pastor Josh Hart. So, there has been mixed emotions and opinions surrounding this, right? So one opinion was, and again, this is just one person's thought. It was so many more. One person said this: how can you retire from ministry? Retiring from a church is understandable, but from ministry altogether? I didn't know you can just quit on God. Pastor Josh and Kimmy Hart were at one time a part of Dr. Matthew Stevenson's All Nation Worship Assembly. I am praying for him and their families as their hearts heal, praying that in time he will see that he cannot outrun the call, and that once healed, God will orchestrate opportunities to witness to others concerning the love of Jesus Christ.
Well,
is Pastor Hart walking away? Some say he walked away from God. Some say he walked away from his ministry. Is he walking away? Is this leaving the assignment?
I mean, I think Nancy made a good thing. Was he called by God, or did he go himself? Like, if God told him to go, or was it him? I mean, that for me, I can't answer it because I'm not him. But just getting like a little background of the story, I think it started because he needed some time. He experienced a lot of hurt, from people in ministry and in church. So I believe that, you know, at some point that had to have a role in the decision.
Yeah.
Because like church hurt. that thing is huge.
Church,
it's a huge dagger in ministry.
Church is huge.
And it's like that. It can really like wreck up stuff, wreck
is.
up people's lives. I mean, I don't know if that's the situation with him, but you know, I'm not the one to say I don't, you know.
Yeah.
But me personally, you can stop pastoring, but still walk with God. Like,
yeah.
If the Lord told me, you know, we're no longer to be pastors, that doesn't mean that I'm walking away from God. I'm just leaving the pastoring of, you know, over a group of folk, a group of people. Yeah. But I'm still in ministry with God. I'm still, maybe I'm ministering in a different way.
Good point.
It's like, he don't have to pastor in the traditional setting of church. Maybe, you know, that's just me.
And I think often we miss the scripture that says, to everything there is a season, right? You know, to everything there's a season, there's a time, you know, there's, you know, to everything there's a season and a time, to every purpose, right? And so that could have just been a season he was in, right? Maybe he was the one pastor that actually figured out that, you know, that when God says go, you go. You know, as opposed to dying when he was at, or not being like fruitful. Like, do you know how many pastors stay in the pulpit when God is like, I told you to leave this thing 10 years ago. It doesn't grow. They end up hurting the ministry more than helping it. Because to everything there's a season. Everything has a time. Everything has a season to it. And every season ends. Every season ends. And perhaps this was just his season to end. Again, I don't know. I don't know if he's walking away from God. I don't know. I should say walking away from ministry.
Right.
As you said, and it's not fair to suggest, as so many people are doing, that he walked away from his calling and he's walking away from God.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that we don't know. That's between him and, you know, him and God, and whatever, you know, God told him or didn't tell him. I mean, we don't know. It's just like, you know, people always just judgy.
They're so judgy.
We are so judgy.
Ain't we judgy?
Judgy. We really are.
Kamisha said it best. He can minister through the police force, standing on the corner. It does not have to be in the building. Absolutely. Exactly. I know people now. I know this one person that you know, does not traditionally pastor, but they have such a following. But he does not call himself the traditional, like, okay, no, I ain't nobody's pastor, but they have such a following behind them. You know, so once again, like, you're leading people. And Kamisha, I agree. You know, he can lead people on. He can show the love of Christ on the corner.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I think, I think it's just like sometimes we are like narrow-minded. It's like we don't open our minds to see God bigger than just four walls.
Can you say that again?
I just think sometimes we're narrow-minded and we don't see God bigger than the four walls of our church.
If God only exists, if he only shows up within the four walls that you traditionally worship in, then you have created a view about God that is incorrect.
And there's no, like, you know, Nancy said, there's no you don't retire from God.
Absolutely.
But you may retire from pastoring.
You may retire from the position.
Right. You retire from whatever that position is.
Whatever the calling is. You may have fulfilled that assignment. You know, in many ways, I applaud, and again, I don't know the backstory, but I applaud Josh Hart if he, like, legitimately says, hey, you know something? This season is over. Like, the grace to do this has lifted. I can still now preach Jesus somewhere through my life and through my actions. And can I be honest? Like, this may sound really weird coming from a pastor, but can I be honest? Like, who needs to hear the message of Christ more? Is it the people in church? or is it the community that is being senselessly targeted by corrupt police officers? Right? Like who needs to hear the message of Christ? Again, we all do, right? But is there anybody going to be a messenger of Christ in a police force that, statistically charged, socially is unjust? There has got to be different avenues in which we spread the love of Jesus Christ. And it goes back to your point. He's not just in these four walls. He's outside of the four walls. Jesus Christ never had a brick and mortar building.
So it's just like, I think when I read that, it's just like, I'm not the one to say, he walked away from God, he walked away from the call. I'm not the one to say. I mean, I don't know the man personally.
Not at all.
First of all, I don't know him. I don't know, what God told him. Whatever God told him, God told him. He didn't tell me what he told him. So it's just like, we just gotta be, have a little more empathy and compassion for people, and not just straight just throw them away and throw them under the bus because we may not understand what they did or what road they decide to take. That's
I think
that's it.
What's happened, I know what's happening now is that God is calling, he is literally calling disciples to take up arms. Like, the period of being in the waiting room, the period of being in training, like that's coming to an end for some people. It's literally now time for you to step into what you have been training for, what you have been in preparation for, and that very well may not be in the traditional four walls of ministry. I applaud Josh Hart. Kamisha, there we go. We have to go out. The key word is out and reach the masses. So much I want to say that, but it's true. Ladies and gentlemen, last hot topic, and we are getting out of here. Pastor Purnell, Danny Purnell Jr. Lord have mercy, Danny Purnell Jr. I wanna play this clip.
You wonder why you're struggling. You wonder why you feel so disconnected. You wonder why you come to church and you can't feel nothing. Tell somebody it's time to get filled up with the Holy Ghost. Tell somebody I need the Holy Ghost. I need the Spirit of God. I need that connection. Can I tell you about that connection? When you get that connection, he'll make you laugh and ain't nothing funny. When you get that connection, he'll make you run and ain't nobody behind you. I want the Holy Ghost.
Also new at 4 in Macomb, a pastor and his wife are in the hospital after police say the pastor shot his wife and then himself. Investigators say the shooting happened yesterday afternoon at the Hampton Inn. Police identified the husband and wife as Danny Purnell Jr. and Gabrielle Purnell. Gabrielle Purnell was airlifted to UMMC in critical condition. Danny Purnell is in stable condition at Southwest Mississippi Regional Medical Center. Once he is released from the hospital, he will be charged with several felonies.
Yeah, so according to KALB, the Macomb Police Department in Mississippi has released charges against 25-year-old Danny Purnell Jr. He's the pastor of Bright Morning Star Missionary Baptist Church in Pineville, who police believe shot his wife and then himself on Wednesday, June 24th. Officers responded to the Hampton Inn in Macomb, where Purnell had shot his wife, then himself, while their children were present. Both were taken to the University of Mississippi Medical Center for treatment, and according to the chief, Purnell's wife is in stable condition. And court records indicate that Purnell has a history of domestic violence against his wife. In 2016, she filed a petition for protection from abuse against him in Rapids, parish. In that petition, she detailed instances where Purnell was violent with her, saying, "I've been constantly getting beaten by my husband, and I fear for the life of myself and my unborn child." She goes on to say that he often pointed guns at her and threatened to kill her. Before he became the pastor of the church, he was the deputy in the Rapid Parish Sheriff's Office, which was in June 2022 until he resigned in December of the same year. So, yeah. Look, I didn't even know what to say. Like when I saw that, it's just tragic because it's like you see him on one front, ministering, preaching, stirring up, and then now you done tried to kill your wife and possibly himself. I don't know. It doesn't really say like if he shot himself to kill himself or whatever. But the point of the matter is, it's just like, this is what we be talking about. Like people, like you're masking like who you really are. Like this is a whole different person from what we saw on the first clip to what we see now. Even him with the, him taking a picture with his wife, you would think they was, probably a happy family, happy-go-lucky, doting husband, where she's in an abusive domestic relationship.
This is one of those tricky topics because on one hand, you say, yes, he's a pastor, but he's human. Right? But then on the other hand, I believe that as a pastor, there is a level of accountability,
Absolutely,
and maturity and responsibility that you should uphold and have.
Absolutely. And I get that pastors, you are definitely human.
Correct.
We all,
Absolutely.
make mistakes and things like that. But at the same time, like you said, like pastors, we hold you to like a certain standard,
Correct.
a certain accountability, because you have a group of people who you are leading and who are looking to you for guidance and help and support spiritually, and all of that. And it's like, I need you to be in a position where you can help me come up, and help me be better.
Yeah.
But if you live in a whole life yourself, then it's just like you kind of like a fraud, so to speak.
I think
you don't got to be perfect, but it's a standard.
I think the level of accountability that a pastor should have to God first, right, is that while I am a human, I understand that my life is an example to so many people. Yeah. And that people will see Jesus represented out of me and by my actions. And so I think, and again, I don't know this man's story, but I think he should have maintained such an accountability to God to say, hey, you know something? I'm not in a position right now, mentally, emotionally, where I can pastor people. When my house, apparently, according to court records, is completely out of order. And it just speaks of, as you went back to mask, it speaks of so many leaders, spiritual leaders, that neglect this accountability because of status and because of position, right? And many of us, and I'm sure I can as a pastor, right, but I'm sure I can speak for all of you that would say, I will respect you more as a pastor if you say, hey, you know something? I need to pull away from this for a few moments because emotionally, spiritually, mentally, I'm not right at the moment.
Get it right,
And I can't lead you when I'm broken.
Right, exactly.
And we often lead broken because we have to keep up the image and the status quo and the position, not realizing that we're broken and again, any broken person is going to cause fractures in the family, and this is what happened. Unfortunately, it went to the extreme where he tried to kill his wife and then kill himself.
Yeah.
You know, so it's in front of their children. So it's like he was clearly mentally deranged when he was doing this. And again, I want you to refrain from saying he's a hypocrite. No, not you, right? But I want us to refrain from saying, okay, no, he's a hypocrite. I just think he did not take heed to the accountability. He was not accountable to God, to himself, and to his calling, and to the purpose of his life to say, hey, you know something, I need some help. And again, it could have been people around him that saw these signs.
Yeah, he definitely, you know, needed help. And
he needed help.
You know, sometimes you do. Pastors probably, you know, as well. Like we say, you guys are human. You know, all pastors are human, and you have human emotions, human feelings, things that you still deal with. You know, and it's just like, I ask for help if you need it.
Yeah, but that's so hard, right? Because it's almost as if I am this Goliath figure, not me, but it's almost as if like the office of the presidency. I don't care who's in office, right? It is the office of the presidency that demands, that has this image, no matter who's in it, right? And I think pastors take on that same, you know, on that same burden, I could say, right? It's the office of the pastor.
Right.
And it's like, wow, the office of the pastor can't appear vulnerable or can't appear weak.
I understand.
When, again, I think we have to demonstrate Christ out of our lives. And there was moments when Jesus himself said, hey, you know something? I need to steal away for a moment.
But I mean,
I need time.
And I could definitely understand that. And you can see that that's probably how a lot of pastors feel, because there were times where it's probably been too much, and then you see where pastors, you know, committed suicide, and you're like, well, what the world? You would think they had it all together, because on the outside it looked like they were fine.
There was a recent pastor where he in June, where he literally killed his wife, and he killed his children. A pastor, a man, you know, of God, right? Because regardless of our actions, right? That's a whole nother story, right? But he literally killed his wife and his children. Was it pressure? Was it some type of demonic influence? I would lean towards that, right? A combination of both. Was it some type of mental disorder? I'll lean towards that also, right? It could have been so many things. But I think the takeaway from this story is, don't be so prideful that you can't say, hey, you know something, I need help. And don't live in this bubble where there's no level of accountability to God.
Right.
I'm not talking about accountability to man, accountability to God. They say, I respect you enough, God, not to do this and live like this. I respect you enough, God, to not do this and live like this. I'm not saying, you know, grace is not sufficient, because it is. Yet there's a difference between purposely and willfully doing something continuously, regardless of what God says, right? And I think this man perhaps could have been in an issue where, and I think Nancy said it, you know, I don't know if he had a spiritual father in his life that say, hey, I see that you need help.
Right. I think that helps.
Yeah. Only if the spiritual fathers can actually speak to the sons and are not intimidated by the sons. Right?
That's good.
But you got a lot of spiritual fathers that really ain't spiritual fathers. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. Carmen says, do pastors have counseling within pastors to relieve their emotional stress? Like, for example, I've heard psychiatrists or psychologists that have weekly counseling with more experienced psychologists to talk about hard moments. Listen, absolutely. I've been doing this for a year now, and we're growing, and but there are moments where I call some of my brothers, and it's just like, hey, like, yeah, like, can we talk for a second? So I think every pastor needs someone else that they can say, hey, you know something, I need to unload on. Right. Because I've recognized that I cannot always unload on her.
Right.
I've got to go to someone else that understand, and not saying she doesn't understand the pressures, right? But that can understand the pressure and can say, hey, you know something, you can talk to me because I'm where you are.
Right.
And I can't always unload on her.
Right. And it's you go to people that's in the same position as you. Yeah. That's also pastors.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean.
No, go ahead.
Why you laughing?
No, go ahead.
And they probably would understand it from the lens of being a pastor more so than I would.
Yeah. The most, and we gotta go, the most dangerous things that I think can be done is when, Carmen, going back to your statement, is when pastors unload on parishioners. Right? Whether it be through their sermons, whether it be through their speeches, or whether it just be in their daily interactions with others. Like, this walk can be very difficult and challenging. Right? And you need somebody vertically or horizontally above you that you can say, hey, you know something? I'm struggling in this area. I need help. I need somebody to talk to. And I cannot unload on the people that God has assigned me to lead. I can't unload on her, right? So I think everyone needs, and this is everyone needs someone in their life that they can say, hey, you know something? I need help. I'm struggling. Especially someone that understands the position that they're in.
I mean, Nancy, I think that's a good point too. Like, sometimes people, have trust issues who they feel that they can go and talk to.
Yeah.
I mean,
and if you have a trust issue, right, you can't, in order for you to build your heart, you have to be somewhere in which you are comfortable. Right, in which there has been a proven track record of trust. Right. Let me say that again, a proven track record of trust, right? And so that person may need to perhaps find someone else that they can talk to. Every, I'll say it because I'm on edge anyway, right? I'm already a rebel, they call me, right? When I say I'm talking about people, right? Your pastor may not be the person that you can confide in. You may need to confide in another pastor. You may need to talk to somebody else, right? The truth is, every pastor is not a counselor. Every pastor can't counsel you. They don't have the qualifications. They don't know the words to say, right? Every pastor cannot counsel. They should, but every pastor can't. Right? And so I got to know my limitations to say, hey, you know something? You come to me with this. I hear you and I want to help you, but this is outside of my range of expertise. Let me get somebody else that can speak into your life and help you with this one. Yeah. Because if not, we'll be, it's sad. Yeah. So we're praying for Pastor Purnell and his family.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's tragic.
It is. But I'm just, thankful that they are alive. They did, survive. So.
And I know that I know. How that song go? Fam, we got to go Thursday, 6 a.m. morning devotions.
I can't even think.
Sunday, 9 a.m. Sunday exchange. I tell you this, we are releasing a new series on Sunday entitled Entanglements. You do not want to miss this. Sunday, 9 a.m. We release a new series, Entanglements, huh? Now listen, some of us are entangled in some things that we need to be untangled from. I'll just say that.
The entanglements.
And you've been entangled. Let's be untangled and be free.
Thank y'all for staying with us this long, y'all. We didn't intend to go this long, but you know how we do. Our conversations just take a whole turn. But thank y'all for joining us, and we will see y'all on Thursday. Love y'all. Have a great night. As soon as he presses us to go.
Bye.